It's only a matter of time. Somewhere out there, a catastrophic event is waiting to happen. One that could wipe out a huge portion of the Earth's population and force humanity to start over.
If an event the same as what killed the dinosaurs happened today, you're talking about the near complete destruction of anything and everything on the planet.
Maybe it's one of the 30,000 near-Earth objects NASA is currently tracking, finally slamming into the planet and triggering an extinction event like the one that ended the dinosaurs. Maybe the Earth's magnetic poles shift, stripping away our protective shield.
If you survive the initial impact, you would be stepping out into a hellscape of absolute chaos. And unless you're prepared for it, you're going to die.
And leaving us exposed to the full force of the sun's radiation. Or maybe a desperate dictator, with nothing left to lose, decides to launch everything in his arsenal on the way out. The point is, it's not a question of if, it's when. And what you might not know is that governments already plan for this. In the United States, there are documented continuity of government protocols, systems meant to keep leadership alive and functioning no matter what happens. When that day comes, world leaders like the President and Vice President will be rushed to secret underground facilities built specifically for that moment. Key members of Congress and the military will follow. But that raises a chilling question. What about the rest of us? There are facilities around the world designed to shelter thousands of people. But who gets saved and who gets left behind? Who makes that call? And where exactly are these places? One location that repeatedly shows up is Denver International Airport. Officially, it seems like just another major transportation hub. But unofficially, it's one of the most talked about places in conspiracy theories, especially when it comes to hidden underground bunkers. The mystery starts with its construction. DIA opened late and massively over budget, costing nearly $5 billion. It sits on about 53 square miles of land, making it one of the largest airports in the world. Beneath it lies a vast underground network, originally designed for an automated baggage system that famously failed and was largely abandoned. So the obvious question becomes, what happened to all that underground space? There are claims of multiple tunnel levels, possibly deeper than officially acknowledged, along with unused sections and sealed-off areas. Even the construction workers didn't fully understand what they were building. Add to that the stories of buried structures, unusually large excavation volumes, and reinforced underground sections, and it's clear something unusual was happening beneath that airport. The U.S. government already operates hardened underground facilities like Cheyenne Mountain Complex and Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center, designed to protect key officials during disasters. Denver sits in a geographically stable region, far from coastlines and many strategic targets, making it a logical location for a secret facility. So, what could the DIA really be? Is this a secondary evacuation hub or a hidden shelter for elites in a worst-case scenario? The official stance says the tunnels are simply remnants of infrastructure projects and maintenance systems. But the combination of unusual construction, confirmed underground space, and the real existence of government bunkers elsewhere keeps the question alive. The only mystery is whether Denver International Airport is playing a bigger role than anyone expected. Mysterious construction. Before a single plane ever landed, people were already asking, why was this airport even built? Denver already had Stapleton Airport, which had recently been expanded and was still functioning. Yet in the early 1990s, officials made the decision to replace it with something far bigger, farther away, and far more expensive. The new airport was constructed about 25 miles outside the city, in a remote area with vast open land. With only one road in or out, the location felt more like a secure compound than a public airport. Critics wondered why such an isolated and enormous site was necessary. Then came the delays and cost overruns. Construction ran about 16 months behind schedule. The final price tag ballooned to nearly $5 billion, almost double the original estimate. For the 20th busiest airport in the country, that level of spending raised serious eyebrows, unless the construction project included something more than just an airport. During construction, workers reported a highly unusual level of secrecy and fragmentation. Different teams were hired, fired, and rehired, almost like they were preventing anyone from staying long enough to discover something. Many workers were given very specific tasks, but didn't understand the full scope of the project. It created a strange environment where even the people building the airport didn't fully know what they were building. Large infrastructure projects are always complex, but this was something else. Then there were the tunnels. Officially, for baggage handling and airport operations, there were at least 6 levels of tunnels and a vast network of corridors stretching beneath the airport. One of the most extensive underground layouts of any airport in the world. But the system never worked properly. Adding to the mystery were claims that didn't make sense. Some accounts suggest that large buildings were constructed and then buried rather than demolished. 5 buildings, ranging from 7 to 15 stories tall, were reportedly completed and then simply covered up. The official explanation was that they were built in the wrong place. But rather than demolish them, they were buried. Even more suspicious is the 40-foot wide tunnel that was built to connect these buried structures to the rest of the facility. Over 100 million cubic yards of earth were moved during construction, an enormous amount far beyond what a standard airport requires. For comparison, that's roughly 1/3 the amount of earth moved to dig the entire Panama Canal. Some have calculated it would be enough earth to account for a tunnel stretching all the way to Cheyenne Mountain Complex near Colorado Springs. Other oddities included 5,300 miles of fiber optic cable, enough to stretch from New York to LA and back. A fueling system capable of pumping 1,000 gallons of jet fuel per minute, far beyond what any commercial airport needs, and unusually long runways. Runway 16R/34L is almost 3 miles long, the longest in the country. Overkill for a commercial airport, unless you're planning to land much bigger aircraft, and lots of them. Then there's a small but unsettling detail about the perimeter. All airports are surrounded by barbed wire for security, with the barbs facing outward to keep intruders out. But at Denver Airport, the barbed wire was reportedly installed with barbs facing inward, as if designed to keep people in rather than out. Each detail on its own might be reasonable, but put together, it feels excessive. A remote location, massive underground infrastructure, unexplained, construction choices, and a level of secrecy among workers. It starts to feel like more than just an airport project. And beyond the construction, there were even stranger features that pushed this firmly into conspiracy territory. Strange features and conspiracy theories. When you walk into Denver International Airport, it feels deliberately designed to make you look twice. At first, everything seems normal, but then you notice the details. Outside the terminal, you're greeted by Blue Mustang, a 32-foot-tall electric blue horse with visible red veins and glowing red eyes. Nicknamed Blucifer by locals, the statue became infamous not just for its appearance, but for its history. The artist, Luis Jimenez, was killed in a freak accident when a piece of the sculpture fell and severed an artery in his leg. Some believe the statue symbolizes the fourth horse of the apocalypse, and that it carries a curse. Inside, gargoyles sit in the baggage claim area, officially playful, protectors referencing historical architecture where gargoyles were believed to ward off evil. But it's a strange design choice for an airport. The runway layout, viewed from above, resembles a swastika-like pattern. Aviation experts explain the design is practical, allowing planes to land from any wind direction. But combined with the murals and other symbolism, it's unsettling. Perhaps the most talked-about features are the murals painted by artist Leo Tanguma, depicting scenes that are genuinely disturbing. Masked soldiers, burning cities, children in coffins, and apocalyptic imagery. One mural shows a Nazi-like figure in a gas mask holding a rifle and slicing through a city with a sword. A dead dove at its tip, signifying the death of peace. Children lie in rubble. Citizens flee. A mother cradles the body of her dead child. And a poem by a child who died in a Nazi concentration camp is inscribed below. Another panel depicts children from every culture carrying weapons and flags of their nations, surrendering them all to a blonde-haired, blue-eyed German boy at the center. Imagery that many interpret as depicting a one-world government. The artist says the murals represent a journey from chaos to peace. Not everyone is convinced. Near the murals on the floor, the letters AUAG appear inscribed in a mining cart. Officially, this represents gold, AU, and silver, AG, a tribute to the miners who helped build Denver. But AUAG is also the abbreviation for the Australia antigen, a highly contagious marker associated with hepatitis B. In the context of murals depicting chemical warfare and gas masks, this feeds darker theories about biological weapons and population control. Airport officials lean into the conspiracy culture, joking about lizard people and secret societies in their advertisements. They've even installed a talking gargoyle that spits out one-liners like, "Welcome to Illuminati headquarters," Denver International Airport. But their playful attitude makes people even more suspicious. If there really were underground bunkers designed to house elites during a global disaster, wouldn't there be clues hidden in plain sight? New World Airport Commission. One of the most suspicious details at Denver International Airport isn't hidden underground. It's etched on a dedication plaque for all to see. If you stop and read it carefully, you'll notice the name looks like it came straight out of a conspiracy novel. The New World Airport Commission. Now pause for a second. Have you ever heard of that organization before? Most people haven't, and that's what makes it so unsettling. The New World Airport Commission was a temporary committee formed to help organize the airport's opening ceremony. But the problem is the name itself. In a world already filled with speculation about a new world order, putting those exact words on a permanent plaque sparks immediate curiosity, suspicion, and theories. The plaque also features the Masonic square and compass, an unmistakable emblem. Officially, the Freemasons helped fund the capstone, which explains their symbol. But the numerology deepens the mystery. Though the airport opened on February 28, 1995, the capstone was placed on March 19, 1994. Add up 3 plus 19 plus 1,994, and you get 33, the highest degree a Mason can achieve, and a number of deep significance in Freemasonry. If there really were underground facilities beneath the airport, who would be behind them? The idea of a shadowy organization like the Freemasons coordinating behind the scenes fits the narrative perfectly. These groups don't operate openly. They work quietly, influencing leaders, shaping policies, and preparing for large-scale events. In that context, a massive, over-budget airport with extensive tunnel infrastructure starts to look like a potential command center or refuge. The capstone also contains a time capsule set to be opened decades in the future. Some say it holds coins and newspapers. Others suspect it's an entrance point or a switch connected to a hidden system below. Logical explanations exist for all of this. Temporary committees exist. Donors get recognition. Symbols don't always mean secret control. But the combination of a strange name, secret society imagery, and already mysterious construction creates a perfect storm for speculation and feeds into an even bigger question about population reduction and global control. Population control? Think about it. If a global disaster struck, an asteroid, nuclear war, or even widespread collapse of infrastructure, those who emerge from the secure underground facilities would be the ones in charge of rebuilding everything. That idea sits at the heart of many theories surrounding DIA. The people who survive aren't just lucky, they're chosen. And whoever controls the bunker controls who gets in and who gets left behind. This connects to the idea of a new world order, a hidden network of powerful groups working behind the scenes. Names like the Illuminati and Freemasons come up constantly. These groups don't rule openly, but they shape events quietly through governments, institutions, and global systems. Theories suggest the process would be gradual. Increased surveillance would be introduced under the promise of safety. Media outlets could consolidate, shaping a single dominant narrative and sidelining dissenting voices. Education systems might reinforce certain perspectives, while economic systems could be destabilized and rebuilt in a more centralized way. One of the most controversial ideas involves population reduction, not through obvious means, but through events that appear natural or unavoidable. Pandemics are the most frequently cited example, where people willingly give up freedoms in exchange for security. Whether or not you believe any of this, it proves one thing. Fear changes how people make decisions, and those who control the fear control the outcome. If DIA really does have the extensive underground infrastructure that theorists believe, it becomes more than just an airport. It's a potential hub where key individuals could be protected while the surface world deals with chaos, and from which decisions about rebuilding could be coordinated and control maintained. The U.S. government already has confirmed emergency facilities like Mount Weather and Cheyenne Mountain Complex, but those are the ones we know about. The DIA might be holding something far more classified. A facility we may never have the chance to see. Secret underground facilities. The DIA's underground system was built to support a fully automated baggage handling network, an ambitious, high-tech system that ultimately failed and was abandoned after costing hundreds of millions. What remains are levels beneath the airport that most travelers would never see. Many claim the underground structure goes deeper than officially acknowledged. Some of these spaces could serve as emergency bunkers, similar to confirmed facilities like Cheyenne Mountain Complex or Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center. There are also claims of detention areas meant for holding political dissidents during times of crisis. The tunnels have unusual features too, like extensive sprinkler systems that some believe could be used to disperse gas into common areas rather than just fight fires. Some stories go even deeper. Hidden labs, secret technology, and even non-human activity. There are rumors of UFO storage, some call it Area 52, and the most extreme version claims that reptilian humanoids, the so-called lizard people, operate deep underground. These ideas have no evidence, but the existence of government-owned restricted underground spaces is very real. And if you think all of this sounds far-fetched, it might surprise you that some whistleblowers have emerged over the years claiming to reveal secrets about what lies beneath. Schneider. When the conversation about hidden bunkers turns serious, One name almost always comes up: Phil Schneider. His story is one of the main reasons the airport's underground has such a mysterious reputation. Schneider claimed to be a government engineer who had worked on classified underground construction projects across the United States. There are publicly available records confirming he worked as a government contractor, which gives his story just enough credibility to make people pause and listen. In the mid-1990s, right around the time DIA opened, Schneider began giving public talks. He claimed that the airport was built with 6 underground levels, but actually extended to 8 or more. These lower levels weren't for baggage or maintenance, according to him. They were part of a vast, hidden infrastructure tied to military operations and emergency preparedness. He described massive underground bases spanning miles, not just under Denver, but across the country, designed for extreme scenarios like war, catastrophe, or even contact with unknown forces. Schneider's credibility has been heavily questioned. Critics point out inconsistencies, lack of verifiable evidence, and claims that stretch into territory involving aliens and underground conflicts. But then it became even more mysterious when he died. In 1996, Schneider was found dead under circumstances officially ruled as suicide. His last public talk was in 1995 in Denver, where he told the audience that at least 12 of his friends had died mysteriously in recent years. He said he felt he was being watched, and specifically stated that if he turned up dead, no matter what the official reports said, he was killed. His story sits right at the intersection of possibility and doubt. Truth versus hoaxes. After all the theories, symbols, and speculation, we arrive at the most important question surrounding Denver International Airport. What's actually true and what isn't? Yes, there are tunnels beneath the airport. That part is completely true. However, their original purpose was far less mysterious: a state-of-the-art automated baggage system that famously failed shortly after installation, costing hundreds of millions before being largely abandoned. What remains is a network of tunnels and infrastructure that feels oversized for its current use. Still, the existence of that underground space is what keeps the bunker theory alive. Because even if it wasn't built for bunkers, could it be repurposed for them? The U.S. government does maintain real underground facilities elsewhere. So while there's no solid evidence DIA is one of these sites, the concept remains unproven rather than disproven. And if you think a secret bunker couldn't exist right under everyone's nose, consider the Greenbrier Hotel. Located about 5 hours from Washington, D.C., it's an upscale resort visited by 26 U.S. presidents and European royalty. In the 1950s, while the hotel underwent renovations, the U.S. government secretly installed a massive bunker underneath. 112,000 square feet, complete with 25-ton blast doors, its own power plant, a cafeteria, and a hospital with labs and pharmacy. It could house 1,100 people, and it was the designated destination for all of Congress in case of emergency. For 30 years, nobody knew it was there. Not even hotel workers. Staff operated it the entire time, right under everyone's nose, and some sections weren't even underground. In 1992, the Washington Post exposed the facility. In 1995, the same year Denver Airport opened, the government decommissioned it. If a bunker of that scale could be hidden inside a busy hotel for 3 decades, the idea of something similar beneath a massive, sprawling airport complex isn't far-fetched at all. There's also a curious incident from 2011 that adds fuel to the fire. When the comet Elenin was heading toward Earth, between 3 and 4 miles wide, nearly as large as the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs, NASA couldn't yet confirm it would miss us. President Obama was rushed to a secure facility, but not Cheyenne Mountain, which would be the standard protocol. Instead, he was taken about 100 miles north of Cheyenne, to Denver International Airport. Whatever is or isn't beneath that airport, the fact that it was chosen over a known military bunker during a potential extinction-level event raises questions that official explanations haven't fully answered. The airport's approach to addressing these theories hasn't helped either. Rather than engaging with questions seriously, they lean into the joke, putting up signs about lizard people during construction, installing sarcastic talking gargoyles. A spokesperson admitted they decided to have fun with the conspiracies rather than fight them. But many feel that comedy is the easiest way to deflect real questions. As one commenter put it, instead of addressing the Freemason time capsule, the death horse, the murals of slaughter, and the underground tunnels, they make a gargoyle to laugh at anyone who asks. The Denver International Airport remains one of the strangest places in the United States, a place that cannot yet be fully explained. Between the construction anomalies, the disturbing artwork, the Masonic symbolism, and the vast underground network, something doesn't add up. We still haven't been able to go beneath the airport and find out what it's really hiding. Maybe there's nothing down there but old baggage tunnels and maintenance corridors. Or maybe there's something far more significant that we're not supposed to see. What do you think the secret is behind this airport? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.